Protein is one of the macronutrients along with fat and carbs and is arguably the most important. If you think about protein, it breaks down into amino acids which are like building blocks in your muscle. So in terms of muscle gain, protein is incredibly important for once you've broken down the muscle from training, you then have your protein which is going to help the recovery and help build the muscle back up. It's also incredibly important when dieting. When you're in a calorie deficit, it actually stops muscle breakdown. So as well as building muscle, it can also prevent muscle breakdown while you're losing fat and losing weight. So you want to make sure the composition that you're losing is from body fat rather than muscle. Some of the other benefits of protein, particularly when you're on a fat loss diet, is that it's incredibly satiating. So 100 grams of protein is likely going to fill you up for longer than 100 grams of carbs, which is obviously important when you're perhaps eating less than you'd normally be eating. It also has a higher thermic effect, which basically means that once you consume the protein, the body uses more calories to digest it and absorb it than it would with carbs or fat. There's a lot of very prominent myths about protein. One being that too much protein is actually bad for your kidneys and can damage them. This has just been proven in lots of studies that this isn't the case at all. If you already suffer from a kidney condition, too much protein can exacerbate it, but if you have healthy kidneys, then there's no problem at all with that. Another myth is that you can only absorb a certain amount of protein in a meal. Again, this is kind of a bit of a twisted myth in that your body can only absorb a certain amount of protein to be used for muscle synthesis, which is muscle growth. However, all protein gets absorbed and it can be used for other things, whether this be energy expenditure or even in the presence of a calorie surplus, it can be stored as fat. However, it's harder to store protein as fat than it is carbs and fat, so you shouldn't worry about this too much. So this is why when you're training with Revolution or anywhere, protein is such an important macronutrient, whether it's for muscle gain or fat loss. I'd normally recommend a minimum of 1.8 grams per kilogram of weight for your protein intake. That's a really good place to start. If you're looking to build muscle, maybe even go a little bit higher than that.